Every pregnancy needs utmost care and attention. But certain pregnancies need a little extra attention. An Rh negative mother carrying an Rh positive baby is at increased risk of complications. BSV is at the forefront to ensure safe delivery in every Rh negative pregnancy.
Hello and welcome to Women's Cricket Zone and Rep Sports, the outside view, presented by the associate partners Puma, AMRI Hospitals, PSV, and Food and Wellness. Today it is the tournament favorites, Australia, who take on Bisma Maroof's team, Pakistan, in an all-important encounter, especially from Pakistan's angle. I have with me Julia Price and Marina Iqbal, who join me here on the show. Ladies, first thoughts. We still to hear from what has gone out at the toss. But what would be your first thoughts? Australia come off from a win against England, Pakistan against a huge loss from India. Marina, your first thoughts on what it is going to be and how different it is going to be for Pakistan, just to make that big turnaround and probably upset the favorites?
Well, definitely they have to work even harder because Australia is, they are the tournament favorites. So it's going to be more difficult for them. First off, they've got good pacers, they've got spinners, and the batting lineup. It's a huge lineup again, scoring runs, and they like to score it quickly. So, Pakistan has to be on their A grade game, and I think they would be disappointed from the previous loss, but what's done is done. They've got a whole tournament ahead. And moving on from this match, I think they can gather themselves, and if they play good cricket, there's a chance they can give some tough time to Australia.
Tough time to Australia. Australia is still not playing their best 11. They've basically had a lot of changes. Ashley Gardner kind of temporarily ruled out. Heather Graham replaces her in that 15. This is, for viewers, this is only a temporary replacement. Graham has only made the side for a couple of matches. This may be just her last. Ashley Gardner, once out of the MIQ after being tested negative, will basically come back into the side, into that 15. But Sutherland gets a chance in the first game. She's not been bad, and of course we don't see any changes there. The big news coming out is Australia has won the toss and elected to bowl first. Marina, how important it is going to be? Pakistan bowled first in the last game, batted second. This time they are batting first. What should be the change in the intent right from the top of the order?
Well, I think there has to be a huge flip side. Otherwise, they're not going to manage any good total. Yes, the batting lineup was good. They've got experienced players, they've got attacking players, but again, the implementation was missing in the last match. Now they are going to post a total against a very commendable side. Their fielding is spot on, so it's even going to be harder. But I think that Australia has some really good paces. Pakistan has already played in this ground, so the pace can also be a threat, but it can also assist something for the batters because it might going to come onto a bat nicely, and it's easy to time against the pace bowlers. So I think that Pakistan top order should capitalize on that opportunity. And yes, from the first ball, they have to keep their target in mind, and not just the whole target, but divide it into sessions. And I think that might help them. Overall, looking at Australia side, they've still got really great bowling options. They've got Darcy and of course Megan Chu, who's going to swing, and they've got really decent spinners as well. So yep, it's going to be tough. But again, I think Pakistan, if they play on their potential, can post a good total.
Do you feel you need an Okay, Julia is here with us. Julia, Australia has chosen to bowl first. Kind of different. Pakistan bowled first in their last game. Australia did bat first in their last game. Put England in. So both teams doing a bit of a different sort of a thing. Do you feel? And there is a big news. Talia Magra has been ruled out of today's match with a sore heel. So she's missing out of today's game. She is definitely one of the players to look out for in that World Cup team. Julia, is this going to be a huge loss, or it doesn't really matter? Australia have enough backups for Magra or for anyone in that 11.
Well, it's absolutely going to be a huge loss. Talia McGrath's a fantastic player for Australia, and she's really stepping it up now. But at the same time, I think they've got a fair bit of depth. At playing at Mount Maunganui, it's generally a little bit slower in the pitch, so they may want to go with a bowler like Amanda Jade Wellington, who isn't a bad bat. But I haven't seen who they've actually pulled into the lineup quite yet. But I think either her or they'll obviously leave Sutherland in, who came in for Gardner as well, who's out.
You're right. You're right. Amanda Jade Wellington makes into that 11 for Talia Magra.
Awesome, and I think she'll be fantastic. I can't wait to see both her and Alana King bowling from each end. I mean, as you mentioned before, it was the spin attack really caused some issues for the Pakistani girls the other day in the Indian game. Gaikwad got 4 for. So I think we've got quite a few spinners in there with Jess Jonathan as well. So they've got a few issues against spin, I would think, at Mount Maunganui. So it doesn't surprise me that Australia bowled first. I think they want to really probably try and get Pakistan out pretty quickly, and then obviously chase down those runs and really try and get their net run rate up, because they sort of really let England back into the game the other day and had a great opportunity to do that, and they just didn't do it well enough, I think.
Yeah. Didn't do well enough, you think? Pakistan, so basically Pakistan is batting first, Australia is bowling first in today's game. If we have the playing 11 ready, if you can put up the graphic there, there is this huge thing wherein Indian girls did well when it came to the spinners, but at the same time they were able to not allow Pakistan to put up runs in that first 10 overs when Jhilan Goswami and Meghna Singh were bowling. Do you feel that's going to be very important, because you basically are playing in with the batter's mindset? And how important, Marina, it is going to be for Pakistan to get in someone like Nahida Akhtar, who's going to be an enforcer, than Sidra Amin at the top, because she's meant to play slow. But at the same time, she could be your anchor who just play 100 runs of 130, 140 balls. And then you ask all the others to basically play around her.
Yeah, I was expecting Nahida to be in the playing 11 in the previous game as well. But yes, on the other side, if you look, Nahida hasn't been scoring runs, and it's been since like 2 years now. Sidra, on the other hand, yes, she can take her time out in the middle, but again, she runs between the wickets really well. She's got some good release shots. It wasn't that bad in the previous game when Bisma came along. It was started to develop a good partnership. But I think they might probably, I'm not sure if Nahida is playing or not, but Nahida is more stable on the back foot, which can help against Australia. But again, the question is that how well they can put up a start against Australia, because again, my concern was always the top order, not the middle order. If they can manage to get a good start, good foundation up front, then they can develop on it in the middle overs. But I think with experience, I would probably again back Nahida against Australia, because he did well in previous games against Australia.
Marina is backing Nahida. We have the playing 11 here on the screen now. Pakistan, Bisma Maroof, Sidra Amin, Javeria Khan is dropped. Nahida makes into that 11. Umaima Sohail, Nida Dar, Alia Riaz, Fatima Sana, Sidra Nawaz, Diana Baig, Nashra Sandhu and Anam Amin. So that's the big change. Javeria Khan is dropped. Looks like that. I am not sure if there is an injury or not. But Javeria Khan looks dropped. Nahida makes into that 11. Australia, Healy, Haynes, Lanning, Perry, Mooney, Sutherland, Nicola Carey, Jess Jonathan, Alana King, Amanda Jade Wellington, and Megan Shute. So I'm assuming Darcy Brown is kind of rested. They're just rotating their bowlers, and Nicola Carey makes into that 11. Julia, your first thoughts. Do you feel Darcy should have been rested so early into the game, or is Australia saying that, oh, okay, we can just take Pakistan a little lightly, and then maybe we can unleash Darcy on the top 3 ODI ranking sides?
Yeah, I think that's probably what they're trying to do is just get, I mean, she is only a young kid. She's only 19. They probably don't want to overload her. She's just had a massive Ashes series as well. So it's not necessarily that they're playing Pakistan, but the fact I think they just need to give her a bit of a break. And it's also great, and they've been caught out before by not playing majority of their players and really trying to work out who is their best 11 as they're working towards the end of the tournament. I know it's only early and they've only played one game, but I think it's a really good opportunity for them, obviously with McGrath and Gardner out, who are normally very, very regular, to start bringing in people like Nicola Carey, who's been on the periphery for quite a while, but at the same time been in some really good form in our domestic competition here in Australia. So I think it's good that they're doing that, bringing her in. It'll be it's a different role than obviously Darcy Brown. She's obviously normally the opening bowler. Nicola Carey won't be opening the bowling. But at the same time, it's also great that they've brought in Amanda Jade Wellington as well, just to see how much she's going to be able to turn the ball. But I think Nicola Carey's probably primarily there for her batting, and will probably bowl maybe 5 or 6 overs as well.
Also gives a chance to get Perry back at the top, opening the bowling with Megan Shute.
Yeah, absolutely. Perry's did a great job in the ODIs, got left out of the T20s and the Ashes. So I think since then she's really worked on, what it is about her game and how can she have that point of difference, and just that length bowling that she bowls, that she really found some form in after the Test match and then leading into the ODI Ashes series has really helped. And she bowled beautifully the other day. I found it interesting. She only got the 5 overs, maybe a little mistake by Meg Lanning there with the captaincy, but definitely you can pencil Ellyse Perry in for her 10 today for sure.
Ellyse Perry bowls her 10 overs is what Julia Price predicts. Let's come down to the person who's going to make a comeback into that Aussie 11 after nearly 4.5 years is Amanda Jade Wellington. Very happy to see her back, but at the same time, if you just see her career, 2017 World Cup, she was with the team. Post that, she played that Ashes series. Later was dropped. Did not find a side. Did not find a claim to that Aussie side because Georgia Wareham made that Aussie 11 for all that 4 years timeline. Plays the WBBL last year. Does very well. Goes to the 100. One of the rare Aussies who goes to the 100 and plays and performs brilliantly. Comes back, plays the WBBL, performs brilliantly. Georgia Wareham unfortunately gets injured. Still, she's not the preferred one. Alana King basically pips her and gets into that Australia 11. Sophie Molyneux gets injured ahead of the World Cup. Now Amanda Jade Wellington makes that 15. And now finally, and that too again with an injury to Talia McGrath, and probably because it is Pakistan who struggled against India's spin, now Amanda Jade Wellington finally makes that 11. And the last time I spoke to her, she was like, I just smile every time. If it's a good day, bad day, I don't really care. I just try and smile. Julia, tell me how big a timeline this is and how happy she's going to feel to again don those yellow jersey of Australia finally.
Oh, Yash, that was just exhausting listening to that. That was such a journey for her for the last sort of 4 or so years. But what I really like about Amanda Jade Wellington is that she just, like you said, she just keeps smiling. She's been performing for a long time. Selectors just keep not, I think they've seen what she could do. They've asked her to go away and try a few new things, really trying to improve on her game, improve on her fielding, improve on the batting, because she's got a lot of talent with the bat, but just only sort of occasionally will perform with the bat. So I think where someone like Alana King, and this is the problem with selection sometimes, is someone is a little bit of a a flyer from from behind. And Lana King hasn't been the most consistent over the last few years, but she just had a very, very good year coming into this massive year that we've got. So she managed to sneak ahead of Amanda Jade Wellington purely on the energy that she's bringing and just someone new and who's up and about. Not thinking that she's any better than Amanda Jade Wellington, but maybe just a better culture fit for the group. But what I really liked is that the selectors after the Ashes series really had a big think about who they're bringing away for the World Cup series. Amanda Jade Wellington did well in the Australia A series against England A, so she's been re-included. I just think she's just going to be happy no matter what. She loves being around cricket. She's a massive cricket nuffy, just wants to talk cricket all the time. So the fact that she's back in the green and gold, I think she'll be extremely happy about that. She'll work really, really well with Alana King. But I don't think she's going to be seeing this as like her redemption or anything. I just think that she just feels this is another part of her cricketing journey. And some people sort of, a bit like Stuart McGill with Shane Warne around, I suppose. He was sort of in and out of the squad. He was a fantastic bowler, but you just had someone ahead of you at that stage. But I'm really looking forward to the two of them, and not that it'll be a bowl off, but it'll be a really good way of seeing where they both are at. Because Amanda Jade Wellington and Alana King are slightly different types of leg spin bowlers. With Amanda Jade Wellington really being able to rip it. So I can't wait to see this turn.
Marina, we were chatting with Danewan Nikak in the Australia preview, and she was like, if I were to be the Australia captain, I would have bowled both the leg spinners in tandem for 20 overs. How do you see that kind of a thing against the Pakistan batting lineup?
Well, definitely, given what kind of surface they're again playing in, and we've seen that there was some turn against India. I think that is the case, which Australia has opted to bring more spinners in. And I mean, with Amanda, Alana King, Jess Jonathan, again, it's going to be a daunting task for Pakistan in the middle overs. But again, if you look at Pakistan side, they've already played on this surface. They have a bit of idea what to do. They got the defeat. They are struggling in batting. So I think they would have gone back and again come up with a resolute plan. And now they're posting total deaths, so they have to be very positive against the spinners as well as on up top order. And I think that yes, Javedia probably had some kind of injury, and that will affect the opening slot. Sidra Amin is there, but again, Naida coming into the playing 11, playing her first game. It's not going to be easy, that two against Australia. And again, I think Pakistan would be expecting to off to a good start. So it's an added pressure to her. But with her experience, I think if again she can apply herself in the middle, Pakistan may get a better start that they were expecting. And then with the middle overs, Naida is also good against spinners. Nida Dar coming in, Alia, Bisma Maroof. So they've got a good, decent middle order to counter the spin attack of Australia.
Let me take you through that Pakistan lineup. Javeria Khan was the captain till whatever the last series Pakistan have played. Now is no more even the vice captain for that matter, even when Maroof returns. Nida Dar is the vice captain. And once this happens, Javeria plays the first game, does not do well, is probably dropped today. I'm not sure if it's injured. We don't have
It was an injury, yes. It was an injury. Yeah, that's what I thought.
Okay. So she's injured now, basically, not there in the team. But let's look at the top six of Pakistan. The first four, except for Bisma for that matter, haven't really done well in the last one and a half year. Every time Pakistan has won in the last 12 to 18 months, it has always come down to Nida Dar and Alia Riaz. Marina, how big a setback this is? Because if for that matter, you're not winning a single game in the last 12 to 18 months, how difficult it gets for Dar and Riaz to every time get Pakistan out of that shell and basically win the game for the country.
Well, it is difficult, but on a flip side, I think Alia and Nida Dar have also matured from that experience. Now they are more stable and they know how to develop an innings under pressure. But yes, I mean, it's not a good side for Pakistan team, especially for the batting. perspective that your top order is struggling for so long time. They have tried different combinations. They have even, brought Nidadar up the order. Bisma wasn't there. That was the biggest setback. Javeria was not certain about her position. So there has been a lot of shuffling going again, but nothing actually worked. But again, I think it's not about the numbers or at which number they are playing. It's more about the mindset. You have to again define a role for every person, whoever is going out at the top. Every player is different in their mindset, in their approach. So they have to be clear about it. At times, whenever a person or a player plays against their nature, they will struggle. And I've seen that some of the youngsters who play more attacking cricket are being sent out there with a different role to survive. And at that point, they do struggle. They don't know what to do, what not to do. And again, I think that it's not an excuse, but coming into the World Cup, these things should have been obviously sorted out. But now it's time for action. They cannot hold themselves back and think that, okay, what should we do now? It's time to go out there and perform. But yes, coming back to Nida and Alia, I think it is a lot of pressure, a lot of expectations as well. They've been winning games, Alia and Nida, but it's not going to be every day for them as well. So someone has to take the role up. Bisma coming into the playing 11 does actually brings more stability, but again, she needs more support from the other end. It's not one person's game, especially in batting. If I talk about, you need certain partnerships in longer formats. So I think that Pakistan, again, my top order has been my concern. So Pakistan needs to address as soon as possible, otherwise it will be very late for them.
Will be very late for them. Bisma Maroof is already trending off the field. It is time for her to be trending on the field as well. Julia, coming to you, what kind of a lineup do you see for Australia today? Would you have picked in someone like Grace Harris, who's kind of a like-for-like replacement for Ashley Gardner, and probably just put in 4 spinners against Pakistan? Or do you feel this bowling lineup is the perfect one that Australia could have fielded today?
Yeah, I think it's probably the right one for today. I know that Grace Harris was brought into the squad after Hannah Darlington pulled out due to some mental health issues. So Grace was already a little bit on the outer. She did play pretty well again in that England A series. But I just think she's around the group. She'll be annoying people as she does because she's just this energetic, crazy sort of person. But at the same time, she's really improved a lot in her game. She will definitely get a game at some stage, I would think, because she's a big hitter as well as a really big turner of the ball. She gets good revs on the ball. But for me, this early in the tournament, I think they really want to look at their real game players who they think will be, their sort of top 13 at least, and sort of be able to narrow it down there for them to get their final 11. So I think, they went in with their best team against England, and now they're sort of just having other players getting assessed and seeing where they're at to see if they might be able to fit in, if there are any injuries, or depending a little bit on conditions as well.
And the thing which I was talking to Marina, Australia would have basically analyzed each of the Pakistan top 6 and what's exactly the problem that they faced in whatever the last 12 to 18 months. Yep. Do you feel they're just going to pick on that and basically go all guns blazing in the first 10 to 15 overs, so that once they're reduced to whatever, for 3, for 4 in the first 10 overs, then Australia have that upper edge?
I think what generally tends to happen with the Australian team is they sort of like to do their own thing. They absolutely would have done their analysis on the Pakistani players, but I think at the same time, I think they'll just want to go about how they want to play the game, working on what areas they're trying to bowl in, working on their variations and when they should be doing it. Even Meg's captaincy, which I questioned a little bit the other night with some of her tact, will be interesting after her. And she sort of admitted that, not necessarily about that, but just various aspects of the game that they need to get better on. So I think that's what they'll be looking at today is actually making sure that they're executing, bowling to their fields. What are their fields? Are they the correct ones for, the game situations? Her bowling rotations as well, just all that sort of stuff. I think they'll just be wanting to make sure that they're ticking off things, making sure they're executing, and at the same time that hopefully will, get them in a really good position in this game as well.
do you feel you play more on the opposition's weakness, or you play on your own strength? This is the question for both of you. I'll start with Julia.
Yeah, I think Australia definitely will play on their own strengths more than they'll play on the opposition weakness. I know that that's how they go about their game, and that's probably why they're number one in the world at the moment. Is they know what their strengths are, that they can adapt, and I think that's an area that they definitely need to keep working on. Is just making sure that if they do get someone on top of them, they can tend to get the wobbly boots on a little bit, and that's a little bit with regards to them not having maybe adapted enough. And I think that's really what they're trying to work on at the moment, is making sure that they're bringing in their strengths. But when those strengths aren't working, what's their plan B and what's their plan C? So to me, it's all about their strengths, definitely.
It's their strength. What's their plan B? What's their plan C? Marina, the same question: do Pakistan play more on their own strength or the opposition's weakness? And do Pakistan have a plan B now?
Well, I think it has to be balanced. I do agree with Julia, but again, your strengths develop over the years. And with Australia, what their strengths is that they've got a really good bowling lineup, they've got a really deep batting as well, and players who've been performing all over those years. So it's again a balanced thing. But for Pakistan, yes, their strength has been bowling because the batting has been struggling. So the bowlers had to put more in the hard yards. But again, the bowling is not going to win your games only. You have to have your batting backing your bowlers. So again, I think that yes, it has to be balanced, but Pakistan should actually focus on both their strengths as well, their implementation, and also where they can come and exploit Australia and maybe capitalize on the opportunities the opposition might be giving to them.
The opposition might be giving to them. We have whatever lesser time now, 2 minutes to when the first ball is bowled. Ladies, time for the predictions. Marina, you first. What is the total that Pakistan is going to set and Australia is going to restrict?
Well, definitely against Australia, they have to go and look at minimum 250. I mean, it seems very far-fetched given the fact that they were bowled out on 130, but again, it's a new day, it's a new opposition, so you have to have a positive intent and just go for it because they have the potential. The implementation was lacking.
And won't 250 be less? Because we saw Australia put on whatever 300 odd, and England go on to nearly go till the position, whatever 12-run shot. Will 250 be enough? Is my question now.
Well, it's always going to be tough with Australia. I mean, you can have a look at their batting lineup. They always come and play attacking cricket. But yes, given the fact that Pakistan bowled exceptional up front, again at death overs, I think they are struggling. Their pacers need to step up their game, and to some extent, spinners as well. Because in the last game against India, what happened was when they grabbed their 6 wickets, they sort of started to get a bit casual, and then all of a sudden it was too late for them. So I think they need to focus on their death bowling. Paces are good, spinners are good. They can restrict Australia, but I mean, the lesser the better.
The lesser the better. 250 is what Marina predicts. Julia, what do you predict Pakistan is going to put up?
Well, unfortunately, Marina, the stats say that Pakistan haven't reached 250 in the last 19 of their ODIs. So it's going to be a little bit of a struggle, particularly against the number one team in the world. However, I'd love to see them get 250 because with another good match. All the matches so far have been unbelievable at this World Cup. But at the same time, and I also hate to tell you this, but the Kiwis have named Mount Maunganui Mount Meganui because she scored 3 centuries there and she's the only player to have done that at that ground. And she absolutely loves batting there, averages 77 there. So you have got a bit of a tough battle ahead, but he's hoping it's going to be an absolute cracker of a game anyway. And it's so good to have the Women's World Cup being telecast, and we can watch and talk about this all around the world as well.
What's the total that realistically you feel Pakistan is going to put up?
I would say about 180 would be a max for me. Australian bowlers probably wouldn't have done their job if they let them get more than that. Mind you,
Australian bowlers have
I was
made.
completely wrong the other day with England, Australia as well. I was very cocky.
Julia's predictions generally haven't come true, but Julia is saying 180, Marina is saying 250. Let's see what Australia is going to put up there. But before that, I think so. I have come a bit early, and that's the reason I did not do this. Today is March 8th. It's International Women's Day. Happy International Women's Day to both of you and to all the women, inspiring women all around the world. Uh, and that's it from us here on the outside. We'll sign off for now. We'll meet you back at the mid show.